We have speaker number 2. Miss Helen Lowe has been a Toastmaster for almost 3 years. She joined Toastmasters in order to improve her public speaking skills, especially impromptu speaking. Today, Helen will be giving her ACM speech number 7, from the Humorously Speaking Manual. The objective of this speech is to make them laugh. She's good at that. The title of her 5 to 7 minute speech is Misconceptions. Please join me in welcoming Helen.
I'm Toastmaster. I once heard a story on the radio that was told by a popular Christian speaker named Chuck Swindoll. This is one of my favorite stories, and it goes like this. There was a mountain man in West Virginia who had never seen a big city before or its modern inventions. He married a girl from the hills, and they lived in the backwoods. They had a son named Junior. And when Junior turned about 16 years old, the father felt really bad that his son has never even seen a city before. So he and his wife decided to save their money to make a big trip to the city. So after 3 years, the big day finally arrived. They put their belongings in the old pickup, and then they started driving. And they drove for a couple days, and as they were getting closer to the big metropolis, Papa was getting a little jumpy. He said, "Mama, when we get to the big hotel, you just stay in the pickup while Junior and I go inside and check it out, and we'll come back and get you." And Mama goes, "Okay." As they pulled up to the big city hotel, they got out, Papa and Junior. They walked inside, and they were totally amazed. One of the first things they saw was this big chandelier, these bright lights, and it was hanging from the ceiling about 3 stories high. And then they saw a waterfall inside the hotel, and they saw these beautiful shops and stores, and Junior even saw an ice skating rink right inside. But while they were staring at all these things they've never seen before, they heard a clicking sound behind them. And this clicking sound, so they turned around to see what it was. It was a small room, and every time it clicked, there were these doors that opened from the center. And people would come out of this small room, and other people would go in this small room. And they saw that you could push a button, and there were lights on top of this small room. And then the door was shut again. So as they were staring at this new thing that they never seen, they saw a wrinkled old lady, and she kind of shuffled her way. The door clicked open, and she walked into the small room, and no one else got in the room with her. And then the door was shut. And less than 20 seconds later, the door opened, and there appeared this beautiful, young, blonde, 20-year-old lady that was a total knockout. And Papa nudged his boy and says, "Junior, go get Mama." Things do not always turn out to be the way we perceive them to be. Have you ever talked to someone over the phone frequently for a long time and yet never met them? So during your phone conversations, you're probably wondering in your mind, you paint a mental image of what this person might look like. Years ago, I was at a job in which I talked to a lady for about almost a year. She worked in a different department, and I talked to her frequently, and her name was Victoria. She had a very nice phone voice. She was very cheery and very easy to talk to. So I was imagining in my mind, she's probably this young, hip girl who likes to socialize. She's probably blonde and likes to party. So after about a year, I went to a work meeting where I got to meet Victoria. I walked in the room, and I instantly recognized her voice. But when I met Victoria, she turned out to look nothing like I imagined. And I've done that with other people that I've talked to on the phone also. So I learned my lesson to not even try to imagine what a person looks like just by their voice, as I'm usually wrong. Also, another common misconception is trying to guess people's age. We have a friend in the East Coast who's a child psychiatrist. And when he was, years ago when he was in his 30s, he was standing around in the hospital that he works at. Our friend, he's a young Chinese guy with a very, very boyish face. And that day, he was just wearing t-shirt and shorts. And people kept stopping him in the hospital and asking him, "Are you looking for your parents? Are you lost?" And one final story I have to share with you. Recently we went to a wedding, and it was on a Friday afternoon in Temecula. It was a very, very cold day, and it was raining. And the wedding was supposed to be outdoors, and during the wedding ceremony, actually it was pouring down rain, but we were underneath a tent. And next to this tent was a little house, and it acted like the hotel lobby because it had the restrooms inside, and there was a table with a guest book to sign in and decorations. And as I was looking around, I saw maybe the theme of this wedding is vintage because they had an old typewriter on one table and silver picture frames. So when I got back to the table where I was going to be seated for dinner, I sat down and there was this silver box on the table. I thought, oh, how nice, they have a tea box for us. And since it was cold, I really wanted some hot tea. So I took the box and I proceeded to trying to get it open. And I was trying to get it open. I couldn't get it open. And I was distracted because I was called away to take some pictures. And when I came back, I sat down again and I picked up this box and I was trying some more. And I was really determined because I wanted some hot tea. And then pretty soon, this lady who was in the assigned seat next to me sat down. And I said, "You know, I've been trying to get this box open and I just can't seem to do it. Do you know how to get this box open?" She looked at me and she says, "That's my purse." Oh my God. I was so embarrassed and I felt like shrinking under the table. And I profusely apologized, and I said, "I am so sorry. I thought that was a tea box. I was just trying to get a tea bag out." She's probably thinking, "Who is this crazy lady who keeps trying to open my purse?" And I apologized throughout the night, but she was very gracious and nice, and she said, "Don't worry about it." I can laugh now at the story, and I thought, well, that could be one of my next Toastmaster speeches. So misconceptions.
That's funny.
They happen all the time, but what can we do but laugh about them? Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. I must say that I recently met someone that I talked to on the phone.